Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We have some big Star Citizen updates to go over today. We got the latest roadmap update, and this time it's actually a pretty substantial roadmap. We have some progress tracker updates, there's some interesting additions there and changes there that we're going to take a look at and talk about. And then we also have the announcement that the latest PTU patch for 4.3, after a hotfix is applied, is going to be their release candidate build. Doesn't sound like there's going to be another one, so there's a very real possibility of 4.3 going live tomorrow, maybe Friday. We're going to talk about that a little bit and more, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. So first, let's briefly start by talking about the message of the day that we had this morning. They said that we are currently preparing a small hotfix build for the 4.3 PTU environment. This update will be our live release candidate build. Now, this is very surprising because it has only, 4.3 has really only been in the PTU. I want to say it's been less than 2 weeks total from Evocati to just the open PTU. So a very, very fast turnaround for this patch, which is quite interesting with all the new locations and stuff that we're getting. But maybe it's just gone smoothly. I don't know, just with their scheduling, this is when they plan to do it. So we'll have to see for sure. But we do have a Inside Star Citizen tomorrow, Thursday, for the patch. We're going to talk about the patch itself. So I would not be surprised if the patch goes live tomorrow, possibly Friday if they need to make another hot fix or something like that. So this is your warning. You'll want to make sure you claim all of your ships. You have them stored. You may want to remove the components you have from them. Sometimes, at least in my experience, that gives me a better. It seems to give a better opportunity for the components to stick around. So you will want to make sure to do all of that to make sure to keep all of your ships. Okay, so now we are going to go over all of the roadmap updates that we have. First, we'll start with the roadmap roundup, go over some of that, and then we will take a look at the release view for a minute, and then as well, we're going to look at the progress tracker because there's been some updates there, some additions, and some changes. So we're going to go ahead and talk about all of that. All right, so 4 changes on the release view. So for 4.3, they added the card for the Kruger L-21 Wolf. That's the new Kruger Light Fighter that's been unveiled a little bit. We should know on pricing and all that sort of stuff, probably again in the next day or two, assuming the patch goes live and very soon here. I'll definitely be checking it out once we have it in game. So that was all for the 4.3 column. And then we move on to the 4.3.1 column where we have a bunch of new stuff. So for new additions to the 4.3.1 column, first we have NPC dropships, introducing dropships in Pyro, defending outposts and deploying reinforcements when the local population is attacked. So that card's been added on there. Really cool idea. That'll be interesting to see. Maybe I read something that there was that sort of feature was added a while ago, I think, but maybe it never entirely worked. Maybe it needed kind of reworked or refactored to be compatible with server meshing. So we'll have to see on that. But yeah, I mean, if you can get waves of reinforcements to be lifted in on a Valkyrie or something, that'll actually be pretty cool to see. So I'm looking forward to checking that out whenever they put that in the game. All right, our next 3 cards are that there is going to be a new heavy utility armor. They don't really get a lot more specific about what it is, but it's heavy, so I'm assuming it'll be heavy armor. So we'll have, I don't know, maybe it's a bigger version of the Strata set that we got for 4.2.1, a little bit more chunky, I don't know. And then we also have the postponement, actually, of the medium utility armor Ambrose. That card has been postponed to a later date. And then with 4.3.1, we will also be getting another 2 hairstyles in the character creator. Again, they're typically adding 2 to 4 new hairstyles every patch here, just continuing to increase the variety of hairs that you could choose from in that. And last for the release view editions is the one that I am probably the most excited about, and that is the Volt LMG Fresnel. Introducing Volt's Heavy Hitter, a machine gun that ramps up the punishment as it heats up, trading rate of fire for raw stopping power. As it nears peak overheat, it unleashes searing energy blasts capable of tearing through hostile forces with terrifying efficiency, featuring a hefty reload time but with a high capacity magazine. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, it sounds like it'll have a little bit lower rate of fire, but each shot will do a good amount more damage than, say, like maybe an FS9 round or an F55 round or a Demico or something like that. Um, and the energy blast as it heats up is interesting. I don't know if it's going to be similar to kind of the lightning arc that's caused by the Volt rifle, something even bigger than that. So we'll have to see. But I am very, very excited for this gun. I've loved every single Volt gun so far. I think I might try and main the Volt sniper next patch because it's really kind of more like a DMR. So we're definitely going to be testing that out and checking everything out that has to do with the Volt LMG. But make sure to let me know what you think about all these changes and additions down in the comments. And now let's head on to the release view. All right, so for the release view, we can see the additions of these cards for 4.3.1. We have the NPC dropships. They're showing a Valkyrie in the picture. I assume that'll probably be the primary vehicle that they're delivered on. There's maybe some others that they could come in on as well. We have more hairstyles. We have that heavy utility armor. And then down at the bottom here under the weapons, we have our Volt LMG Fresnel. I'll try and put up a colored image of this picture here because this one's kind of black and white. So you should hopefully be seeing this now. But it looks like, pretty similar to the Volt rifle, the Volt sniper. It has its own the barrel is a little bit more unique to the other Volt weapons, and the magazine is definitely unique as well. It's really big and chunky. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to finding that, and I don't know if it's going to be at like a new location or something. Maybe it'll just be added to some of the existing places. We'll have to see, but really looking forward to seeing that. So that is all on the release view for this roadmap update. And now we have some pretty juicy stuff to talk about in regards to the progress tracker. So for the progress tracker, first from that roadmap roundup, they had a note at the bottom for what has changed or been added or whatnot. So they said we made a few additions to the progress tracker, which you can review below. Just a reminder, when progress on a deliverable is marked as complete, doesn't necessarily mean it's ready for release. It could require downstream support, transition to another team, or additional steps before completion. So what they mentioned here is engineering, crafting, FPS radar and scanning, a redacted creature, the inventory rework that they showed concept art for in a Star Citizen Live, I want to say a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. Item expiry, which is enabling functionality for items such as key cards to now have an expiry timer after which they are rendered non-functional. The transport refactor of the existing transit system to allow for easier design setup, easier integration into instanced content like hangars, and more robust functionality in server mesh environments. And finally, the command module, introducing the concept of vehicles taking over control from other host ships, primarily used for ships like the Drake Caterpillar. So some quite interesting additions and mentions on the progress tracker here. That item expiry, I don't know how I feel about that entirely yet. If just key cards, just I don't know. I guess if they last for maybe like I don't know 6 hours, 12 hours, something like that, it might not be too bad. But if it's like an hour, might be a little rough for something. So we'll have to see on that. I am interested to see if we get the inventory rework sooner rather than later. We'll take a look at what they show on the deliverables section of the progress tracker in a moment. And I think the big thing that a lot of people are going to be excited about is that command module edition. So that's going to allow the kind of the bridge area or the command module to detach and reattach from the Caterpillar as well as the Drake Ironclad. So you can that could serve as I think it's meant to serve as the like escape pod for the ship, and it can kind of be its own little separate ship from the main body. So that's very interesting that they're putting in the work for that. So I would imagine that once we get the Ironclad, we'll probably have that feature as well. So we'll have to see for sure. But that's the little summary here. Now let's take a brief look at the actual progress tracker itself. Okay, so here we got the progress tracker. We have August, which we're in right now, almost halfway through August. We have two primary areas here where we're going to have deliverables. So under the character art and tech, we have that redacted creature. Don't know at all what that is. Looks like that work is scheduled to go through about mid-October, so right around CitizenCon. So that leads me to believe we'll probably see at least like a teaser or a showcase of this, maybe as part of a little part of CitizenCon. Then maybe it'll come out in November, December, something like that. And then the big section is going to be under the core gameplay pillar. We have a lot of sections to go over. First, we got, I don't think the base building section actually moved in its timeline. It's going through the end of October. I think there's a very, very small chance we maybe see a initial implementation of maybe some base building and crafting, maybe just with like small buildings or something like that. Maybe at the end of the year or in like a tech preview at the end of the year. We'll have to see. I think it's much more likely we get that sometime next year, though, maybe mid 2026 if all things go well. So we'll have to see. But that has not changed as far as I'm aware. Then if we scroll down a little further, we can see that new command module section. Looks like work just started on that and is scheduled to go through the middle of December. I wouldn't expect the Ironclad to be out then. I think with the progress that we've heard about in the monthly reports, I think it's much more likely that we'd probably get the Ironclad at Drake Defense Con next year. So we'll have to see for sure, but looks like that is going through the middle of December there. Crafting as well, I believe, has gotten extended slightly. I think it used to be pretty much in line with the base building one, but that has now also been extended to the middle of December, so that also could hint at not really seeing anything for crafting or base building this year. So we'll have to see for sure. I'm sure we'll get an update at CitizenCon on it, but there's that little update. All right, now two more here that are interesting, and I'm kind of confused on this, is that engineering and FPS radar and scanning have both been extended to basically the beginning of October. I'm pretty sure the engineering, we had passed the end of the engineering bar here, and I don't remember on FPS scanning entirely, so maybe they needed a little bit more time for engineering. It sounds like they've been prepping it for tech preview. Maybe this bar includes time to get it into tech preview. So really hoping we see some stuff on that in maybe the next couple of weeks here. They have been working towards doing a tech preview for Vulkan updates and AI, FPS AI improvements. So maybe after they do some tests with that, maybe we'll get something else for engineering as well. And then a couple other additions here. We also have the inventory rework, which also looks to be ending in the beginning of October. Part of me was like, oh, well, maybe that means we get the new inventory UI and all that interface this year. And I mean, it's possible if it's UI and there's not too much back-end stuff that needs done, but there probably is a decent amount that needs kind of reworked. I wouldn't get my hopes up that we're going to see it this year, but you never know. So we'll have to see on that. They might show off some more stuff, a little bit more work in progress stuff at CitizenCon, but we'll have to see. And then I believe, let me just double check. I guess we have the transport refactor down here at the bottom going through the middle of October. That's just going to help enable a lot of things to work a lot better. And then the last thing we have is the item expiry, which looks like it's just about done. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that in 4.3.1. Maybe there's some new thing they're going to add as part of that patch that will be relevant to keycards expiring or whatnot. You got to be more careful with those, but I'm sure we'll see that sooner rather than later. So that is the progress tracker update as well as the overall roadmap update. So yeah, let me know whatever thoughts you have on anything that we talked about in the comments below. Lots of good stuff, new things that'll be coming in the next patch, the drop ships, the new guns, new armors. I'm sure there might be some more additions as well, maybe some more new locations they'll tell us about soon. And let me know what you think about when we might actually see some of these other features that they've been talking about, like engineering. Do you think we see crafting at all this year? Do we see FPS radar? Do we see the inventory rework? If you have any thoughts on that, make sure to let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, as it really helps the channel, and definitely subscribe to see more Star Citizen news. I'm going to be covering the update that's coming out probably in the next couple of days. I'm trying to put out a guide or two on some of the new locations, and I'm planning on reviewing the Kruger L21 Wolf as well. So if you want to see those sort of updates, then make sure you're subscribed. But that's going to do it for this one. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the verse.